Where is it? That sucks. Okay, guys, I'm looking for something and I don't know where it is right now. I'm trying to wait for some more people to come into the chat. Okay, bit. How is this even possible? Okay, I wasn't sure if this was going to work or not. I'm actually looking for my other phone and I'm not seeing it. Hold on. Oh, here it is right here. Well, getting old sucks. Can you guys see me? Can you hear me? It's my first time doing this, so somebody in the comment section let me know if you can hear me. Anybody? Okay. All right. So I'm doing this tonight because I promised somebody a few years ago that I would share their encounter, and I never really planned on doing stuff like this, but I don't know if this is God's will or maybe I'm just trying something new to see what I can get accomplished because I did promise him that. Thank you guys for attending. I'm trying to wait for at least 8 more people to jump in. Um, and yeah, I know I'm sitting in the dark. That's the way I like to do things, kind of add that creepy uh, mystique to doing stuff. But it won't always be like this. But again, as usual, I'm not inside the house. I don't like to do the stuff inside the house anymore. It's too much weird stuff going on, especially since I got out of the hospital. But that's something for another day. So let me do something real quick and then I'm going to get started. I see a couple people left. Hi, Jason. How are you? Make a notification real quick. Okay. So come to my. I don't know how to make this pin it to the top of the group that it was shared. So thank you for showing up. 6 of them don't went out. Okay, that's good. That's good. I say I'm waiting for more people. More people left. That's funny. But I get it. I get it. I get it. So I have people reach out to me for some reason. For some reason. on a regular basis uh, on Messenger. I really don't do friend requests on Facebook anymore, just because of how much garbage stuff people be doing. Uh, get over there, try to hack your account, do all kind of crap. So I really don't do friend requests on Facebook anymore. Well, I'm having all kind of trouble. So I'm gonna try this. No, it won't sit up there. It won't sit up there. So just put you back in here. Why this thing works so good when you're driving, but when you're sitting stationary, you can't get anything done. Okay, so got 20 people. Thank you, everybody. So this guy reaches out to me about 3 years ago now, and before that, it was a matter of he kept posting on Reddit that he wanted to talk to me because he had had an dog band encounter and it was just like mine. Well, while it was similar to mine, I don't know. I'll be answering all your questions that I can once I finish doing this narration, but I will scroll back up and get to your questions. So again, this gentleman reached out to me, or well, he posted that on Reddit, and then one of my members seen it and relayed that information. Actually, I think his girlfriend seen it and told him about it, and then he sent it to me and let me know the guy wanted to talk to me. So we connected, and I talked to him. Oh man, he was in a bad way when I first spoke to him. I mean, a bad way. He was still sleeping with his lights on. And just so y'all can see, I am live. It's not AI or anything like that. It became a matter of me understanding just how bad I had been after I had my encounter. So, um, I actually spoke with him every day for a little bit more than 6 months, trying to help him get back out of the rabbit hole because he was sleeping with lights on, drinking. Uh, there may have been some drug use involved, nothing hard, hallucinogenics or anything like that. Maybe some marijuana, maybe. I'm just saying. I don't have any proof of that, but was telling me that he was drinking every day, and his girlfriend was starting to side eye him. They had recently purchased a house and in a brand new housing development. But you know, if you're leaving the lights on every night, that's gonna make your utilities be more expensive. So that's what happened. So I asked him if he would type his encounter out, and as you can see, I'm holding another device. I don't know why I'm doing this, but I'm holding my other phone because I got it. His encounter here, and I'm not gonna leave this light on and run my battery down. So I'm not calling anybody to give me a jump on Christmas. Okay, so enough of my babbling. But he starts out by this was from August 21st in 22. He said Rob had a burgundy Saturn car, and we were at Rob's parents' house out in the country. Late afternoon, Tanner was a senior in high school at the time, while Rob and I were 23. At the time, on July 24th, 2010, late afternoon, we were planning to do some fishing on the Fever River. Now, the Fever is called that because it's so cold all year, it can make you sick really fast. Okay. We were getting all our fishing gear ready, and Rob had his trunk open, and we were lining all the poles up. We would have the poles sitting in the open trunk and just line them there, or lay them there, I guess he meant to say. Well, Rob and I took a short break and walked towards the wood line, and Turner came out of the house toward us. He would always let that screen door snap back instead of letting it close slowly. He was known to do lazy stuff like that. Now, Tanner being Tanner, as he walks past Rob's car, he sees the trunk open. So what does he do? As he walks by, of course, he slams it shut and it snaps all of the fiberglass ends off the fishing poles. Yeah, Tanner, you might have went swimming that day. Tanner just always had trouble following him. He always had trouble following him. I don't know, he was careless at times. And Rob turned and said, Jesus Christ, Tanner, you broke my damn fishing poles. Of course, Tanner is trying to talk him down by saying he can fix them. I can fix it, Rob. Yeah, right, Tanner. So anyway, they went back and forth like that for a while. Of course, I'm pretty sure they was heated. And they end up going back into the house, into the kitchen where their mother was, and she had her back to. She's like, she was cooking something. She asked what happened out there, and they told her what happened. That Tanner broke the fishing poles. So it's a lot in here that I'm gonna just kind of fast forward to the event. So basically, what happened is in the area that he lives in, uh, there's a haunted house, and it's located on Council Hill, or 30 minutes north of Council Hill, by Galena, Illinois. I think I'm saying that right. Galena. So it's called the Abley House, Ably, and it has some history. First its history traced back to mid 1800s, where several murders occurred at the house. Most history points to bizarre murders, including the hanging of the father's wife in the tree of the house. This tree still stands today. Several family members died mysteriously there. The children indicated the father had been hearing voices and tried poisoning them. Oh, wow. Regardless, the area had a dark history, and people lived in our area claimed they had been there and they had a secondhand story from somewhere else. Pretty much every story we've heard was you could park your car on the bridge and it would die, or the locks would lock on their own. Most of it was secondhand stories from old timers, so we didn't believe crap. He said, now back to the girls. What do you mean back to the girls? Oh, I'm sorry. I went down too far. All these people were in high school at this time, and they had some girls at school that indirectly challenged them to go find this haunted house and actually go in and do an exploration in there. They didn't go, I'm assuming, at that time, but the girls went, and they went live on Facebook trying to show the dudes up, trying to show them up that, we not scary. We can go in here. We know y'all scared to do it. So the girls went there, and they were from Dubuque, Iowa. So to rub their faces in it, they went in and took pictures and tagged them in Facebook. So basically, they did this to piss us off. We felt pretty defeated, to be honest. They went there during the daytime and got pictures and rubbed it in our faces. So, of course, like most teenage boys, once they seen this, we can't let them one up us. And so, stop. We can't let them one up us. So, somebody had the bright idea, we should go to the Abley house. not everybody was on board with that idea. So they sat down and was discussing it, and somebody said, "Screw that! I'm not going down there at night or at dark. I will be lying that those smug girls from Dubuque will be would rub me the wrong." I'm gonna have to do some paraphrasing because the way he typed this out, I don't know if his hand was shaking or if this autocorrect wasn't doing what it was supposed to do. So I'm gonna kind of tell this encounter kind of ad lib. So basically, this is what happened. Once the girls posted that stuff on Facebook and they decided to go down there, the boys said they was gonna go, and so they hit these railroad tracks. Now I just posted something in the group about railroad tracks and asked a question, and I was specific to what do you think the connection is with cryptids being, especially dog men, being attracted or being seen or encountered on railroad tracks. Now, I also said we already know about, without adding any information, including about it being an easier access or travel, or the guy that allegedly sold the metal to Union Pacific Railroad, or maybe he owns part of it. He's some kind of ties with the devil, whether he's worshiping him or doing sacrifice for him. I'm not really sure on how all of that turns out, but if this metal is made from evil or has evil behind it, then does that mean that the cryptids are evil? The dogmen are evil too that are seen? Or is it just something by chance? I have no idea. So they head down here, and he sent me pictures and some videos. I will post what I can later on in the group because he wanted to remain anonymous. So I'm assuming that these names that he given me are different names for these guys that were with him, but there were 3 other people with him. So they have to go over this bridge, and they have to park on the other side of it, go on this bridge. And this house, he sent me pictures of. It's in a beautiful area. It's got a nice creek that runs right not too far from the front door, a barn, big house. And some of the pictures that he sent me from this bridge they cross over, as the members of the group will see, there's some weird ritual symbols on the bottom, the concrete bottom of this bridge. And there's actually even some that show has sexual content with people changing into animals. I don't know who would think to put that up there, but I don't dabble in that crap, so that's beyond me. But as they walking down these tracks toward this house, they pass a graveyard on the left. Not a very big one, but it looked old, as most of the graves had that worn look, and the grass and weeds didn't look well kept. So, of course, somebody had to be joking and say, "Are we there yet? How close are we?" So as they walking down these tracks, for those that are familiar with it, there's a light that sometimes is on the right hand side of the track. Sometimes it's on the left, but usually it's on the right. I'm not sure what that is and what the purpose of that light is, but maybe it's to, if they're close enough to a farmer's property, it could illuminate the tracks to a certain extent to show if there's cows on the tracks or something like that. I really don't know the purpose. I'm going to do some research and I'll do a follow up on that one. But they're walking down and they see this light, and they hooping and hollering and having fun, being young teenage kids. And as they walking down the tracks, this light it seemed to start flashing, but it was going at an intermediate level, not going too fast or going too slow, but it would seem to me that the way he wrote this is that it had a certain rhythm to it. So as they walking, wait a minute, how did y'all end up at a bar? Okay, even gonna I'm gonna do something different. But I don't know how he ended up in a bar and they was on a bridge. But now he's talking about the railroad pillars were covered in graffiti, which I just talked about. And as they walking down these tracks, they got to go across this bridge, and it was just wide enough for a vehicle. But I guess because the bridge wasn't sturdy enough, oh no, somebody welded a large metal bar across the bridge so you couldn't drive on your car onto it. So they had to get out and walk. And as they were walking across it, they got to a point where they exited the bridge and actually got on the tracks. So this was by the Galena River. And again, when we come back to the light, say like, why is the light doing that? And as they kept going down the tracks toward the light, wait a minute, hold on. I'm sorry, guys, but it's been 3 years since I read this, and I don't remember us talking on the phone about seeing a triangular craft or several triangular craft with lights on the bottom that they're saying they saw. But from the way they was traveling, it sounds like they were UFOs. So anyway, I should have read this earlier and I didn't do it. But as they got to these lights, I'm sorry, was getting closer to the light, he said he noticed that it was a hand reaching up and covering a light and then coming back down and reaching up and coming back down. And they thought for some reason it was the girls who didn't know that they were out there, that they had came up and were trying to hoax them. So they figuring they're gonna get close to the lights and the girls gonna try to jump out and scare them. And no. So that's not what happened. As they got closer to the light, he said a dog man approximately 6.5 feet tall, very muscular, removed his hand from the light and stepped out on the tracks. When they seen this, and one of the guys is heavy set, they took off running. He said that they could hear a hyena type laugh mixed with a dog trying to imitate a human being. And dude said, I never heard a coyote like that before. But anyway, they start hauling back down the tracks and this thing chased them, including climbing up in the trees and jumping from tree to tree. Now, two of them fell and rolled down the side of the embankment on the tracks. And it looked at them and growled and then took off after the other. No, that's not right. It basically stayed in the tree and growled at them until they got up and started running again. And the other guy was out of breath, so he barely could keep up with him, the heavyset guy. And he said he once ran a 4.40. I remember he said he was in the track. He didn't play football, but he ran track. So they run all the way back down to the bridge, make it across, make it back to the car, and got in the car and got the hell out of there. And I know it's not that exciting, but I'm gonna have to do this over again because I might have to rewrite it to a certain extent. It's just the words are so off, and I hate to try to guess while I'm going live. So I'm sorry that this is just a bunch of jumble right now. But long story short, he claims that he seen a dog man and it chased him. And when they got back to the vehicle, one of the dudes that was sitting in the front, he was gripping the dashboard so hard that he actually left finger indentations in there. And when they were going to call the police, everybody's cell phone was dead. And he said he know he had at least 50% before uh, when they first initially got out of the vehicle. So he described what he seen, and it haunted him all this time. Now, this happened in 2010. And his description of the creature was it had ears on top of the head with tufts of fur like a bobcat or more likely a lynx, a wolf-looking face, but with human-esque eyebrows, very defined eyebrows, seemed like perhaps the eyes were set back a bit, maybe a slight brow ridge. He said the eyes were glowed and were whitish with a tint of yellow. It had a muzzle that was squarish like a baboon, and it had a black snout like a canine does, but it had teeth on the sides of its top jaw like fangs, almost looking like they were hooked or curved. So he likens the sighting to the face of a baboon or a mandrill when they open their mouth and they have teeth for miles. He said that's what I expected to see. The shoulders were so out of proportion, large, the width of this thing's shoulders was not right. Huge deltoids. Yeah, I know about that. The muscular bodybuilder arms, but the proportions were wrong. So this vision haunted him so bad for 12 years that he said for the most part he felt like he was going to be it was going to be him going into a mental institution basically. And again, I pointed out that there were some similarities, but really the only thing that was similar was that there were girls involved and railroad tracks because we didn't get chased, thank God. But again, I talked with him every day for almost 6 months, at least an hour. And I felt like he was making progress coming up out of the rabbit hole. Uh, and I'm not sure if he's still with us or not. Um, September in 2022 was the last time I talked to him. I reached out to him and asked him how was he doing, and he said he's not. He's in financial ruin, and he was forced to move back in with his parents. He's having lots of panic attacks, vomiting from stress, feeling suicidal. Got laid off of work again. He said he fights with suicidal thoughts every day. It's been a nightmare for him. So before it got to this point, he shared some pictures with me, additional pictures of his house and his backyard. And he was building a deck off his back of his house. And he said it measured from the ground to the bottom of the deck, it was 10 feet up in the air. He went out one day or woke up one day and went outside, and two of the boards for the floor of the deck, which had been screwed in, not nailed, screwed in, were laying on the ground, had been removed from the deck. I don't know what's big enough or strong enough to do that, but I'm here to tell you right now. Uh, that print, he found a print in his backyard, and it's a canine print, and he's got his hand down next to it. Now, while it's not dinner plate big, it is a pretty good size track. It is. And that just seemed to, I think that sent him back down the rabbit hole in a hurry because he started acting a little bit different, or talking a little bit different after that. Because, he did hear something, and actually he had a neighbor confirm it that just pulled up while we were on the phone. 60 feet from the back of his back door is National Park starts. There's a mountain range in this park that's not too far from his home. And his neighbor was coming down the street. He was cutting the grass, and I was on the phone with him. And I clearly heard that lady say, "Did you hear those screams last night?" And he's like, "Yeah, what was that?" And she said, "I don't know. I've never heard anything like that in my life." Now, I understand this neighborhood that he's staying is brand new. It's his house, and I think 3 of the other houses are occupied, but there's quite a few more that are not. So I don't know what the hell he heard, but I asked him to send me something uh, as close as he could to that sound, and it was. He sent me a picture of a gray horned owl that had got hurt, and it was on the ground, and a cat was acting like he was going to get it. And the sound that it made was, oh my God. I listened to that and I'm like, "Dude, this is what you heard?" He said, "Yeah, it sounded like that." So he just, he stopped talking to me. He stopped talking to me, and I told him that I would call him. I'm giving him words of encouragement, telling him, "You still here. God got your back. Man, don't hold, you don't have to hold that stuff in." But found out that his girlfriend left him, and I just got him close enough, excuse me, to where he was going to talk to her. I just got him close enough. Yet that's not what happened. So started having bad dreams. The depression just got him. I don't know if he's seen something again, but the last message we exchanged, I said, "I'll be calling you about 45 minutes." He said, "I won't be picking up, my man, but thanks for the offer." And I said, "So now you refusing to take my call?" I was like, "Wow, dude, wow, okay, it is what it is." And he apologized again and said he in a bad place. I don't know if he's still here with us. I'm hoping that he is, but I'll honor your request. If you don't want to be bothered, I'm not going to bother you. Now, the reason I'm sharing this encounter, and I know I did a piss poor job, I realize that I wasn't even planning on talking about this because I don't really like doing narrations. I like for people to share their encounters themselves. But I understand why there are people that won't, or just, whether it be for their job or whatever. But there's ways around that. As you notice, I never said his name, not once. And I told him that I wouldn't, and there was ways we could get around that. But he had agreed to come on, and he would have been the third person actually the first person that I interviewed to where it would have been uploaded here. So, having said that, I pray for him every day as always because I don't think he's a bad guy. I just think that this is what can happen to your psyche if you have no outlet for it. And I tried to be an outlet for him, but I'm not a professional. I certainly don't have a PhD. I have a knowledge of them because from experience. just from experience standpoint. And I know what it can do to your mind. I know how you fight you fight with sanity because sometimes the something that you've seen is not supposed to exist, or you've been taught that these things aren't real. So it's like when you can connect with a person on that level and understand that fear, that uncertainty, the questions that come with it, you can help somebody to a certain extent, but God is going to be the one that brings you all the way back. Your faith in God. And the fact that you still here and managed to get away to tell the tale. So for me, it was Jack Daniels on the daily and my gun. And knowing that I wasn't going crazy, I seen what I seen. I had too much time to look at it, had too much time to talk about it with them guys as we was getting Herman home. So I knew I wasn't going crazy. And was no mass hallucination going on either. So um, having said that, I'm gonna pray for him. Again, I apologize. I promise you, the next time if I decide to do something like this, it'll be a whole lot better. But I wasn't even planning on talking about that. What I want to talk about is why do cryptids have this freaking stalker mentality for those that have to deal with him repeatedly, posting up across the street, watching you constantly, watching your family go in and out. You never getting a break. If you go to the store and happen to look over in the woods, they in the freaking woods. If you go to another part of town where you live, they're looking at you. What the hell's up with this stalker mentality? I would say that it's, from my perspective, a hunting technique, or could could it possibly be that they're protecting you from something? I have no idea. I honestly have no idea. But what I do know is, for the people that have to experience this, whether they lay up in their backyard or they across the street in the neighbor yard, or you outlive rural and they just show up. Not always slapping on the side of your house or looking in windows. I mean, why the hell are you looking at my windows? You want to see inside my cave to see what I'm doing because you smell these fantastic smells coming out, or you hear these sounds coming out? If you watching me go and come every day, you pretty much know my routine. Now, of course, there's some of them that do it to find out when the male is going to be gone from the house. And if it's just females there, okay, then I guess their fear level is going to be lessened to a certain extent because the male is gone and the females are going to be considered the weaker of the species. So I guess they feel a little bit more secure. So I don't know. Thank God I didn't have to do that, but I did for 3 years wait for her to show up to finish me off or whatever her intention was. And now that alcohol, that liquor courage is what got me to where I'm like, if she show up, I'm just gonna let her. We gonna finish this one way or another. We gonna finish this. But I'm still here, so I guess maybe because I peed on myself, she's like, he ain't no damn alpha, he a sissy boy or something like that. I have no idea. But it is what it is. Or maybe something that Herman did distracted her to the point of where she went off mission. So with that being said, I'm gonna answer some of these questions. Thank you for those that stayed and listened to my battle session. Uh, having okay, what is this? There's some music messages here. What is the message? Yeah, I am on, boss. I'm on. I'm sitting outside in my car, and I don't have my light on, but I'm working on doing some better stuff. It's just right now, my funds kind of tight since I had my stroke, so um, it's going to get better. It's going to get better. I have people that actually let me. I'm sorry, I'm reading this, but it's going to be more professional. I promise you. It's going to be sometime next year. I gotta get my strength back from this stroke because it's my body's doing things that I can't do. I know you can't see me. Again, I'm sitting in the car. I'm turning my light on every now and again so you can see me. Trying to get my beard to grow in, but it's being stubborn. Well, thank you, Gary. It kind of make me sad that you listen to me every night, man. You need to find you something else to do, honestly. Uh, yeah, every night is a bit much. You know, you could be right. The end of the world could be coming. Are you ready? I one. I I've been trying to post stuff now for you guys in the group so y'all can see that this is not a lot of BS. This is not, I don't do no AI in my group. If anything, at least I try not to. I try not to. It's ruining the cryptid community and it's ruining the evidence. Okay, CJ, you asked about the legs that he seen. He said it was a male and it had the traditional um, hocks of a dog from the waist down. Said it reminded him of a dog. Um, I don't see anything else. But thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate the prayers. So, the thing about dog men is this. Well, first of all, what I want to know is it because they have the midriff, the shoulders and the arms and the hands? Is that why we call them associate them with man? I mean, werewolves, I like that better because we talk about having intelligence or more intelligence than some people, and y'all know what I mean. But then you have the animal part of that too. That makes them extremely dangerous or possibly dangerous. Now, we don't hear a lot of people that have actually had physical altercations with them and made it back to tell the tale. So I guess if Dogman fit, it fit. But if you look at a Bigfoot or a Sasquatch, then they have more human traits than a Dogman does. So would Ape Man work better for them? Or we don't make them feel some type of way because we talk about the size of their feet. Till you get kicked in your hindquarters by one of them feet, and then you develop a different type of respect. So, um, with as many people as I talk to, I've got paranormal stuff. I got UFO stuff. I got a guy coming that's supposed to come back on with me. I haven't heard from him in a few months. I'm starting to get kind of really concerned about him because that's very unusual. But he has an absolutely incredible encounter, including him going on to a mothership. So I'm hoping to get him on uh, sometime next year. Of course, I know Aisha. As soon as we can set it up to where our schedules mesh, I'm going to let you know right now. Yeah, when I have her on again, y'all gonna hear and see some stuff that's gonna blow your mind. And I'm not talking about from 2010, 2015, 2020. I'm talking about from 2021 up into currently today. She just sent me some stuff last night, and I don't know what it is. A lady in Michigan, she's going to come on too. She got Dog Man be in her backyard and an abandoned mine in her area. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure when I'm going to get her on, but I always pray for her because she got small kids. Okay, dude, what are you doing? I'm sorry, y'all, but I've noticed a couple of vehicles that don't belong on my block here in the last week, and there are people sitting in them, but they never go to my neighbor's house. And this pickup truck just drove by, but I'm not gonna worry about that. I'm not going down that rabbit hole. Oh, E is here. She just sent me a message and said she's here listening. If I could have went live in the group, I was planning on having her come on and we was gonna talk about some stuff that's happened in the last 5 days where she's at. Uh, just man, yeah, already got my other YouTube set up for, but it's really hard to get people to come on. They'll talk to me behind the scenes, the majority of them, but when it comes to being on a podcast, they know, they have their reasons, and I respect that. They have their reason for not wanting to be on the podcast, but I think once I start doing it and they see how I do it, uh, okay, E, I see you now. Thank you for showing up. When they see how I do it, then I think they'll feel more comfortable coming on a podcast. But some of the encounters that I've heard, a matter of fact, I'll go to another one coming out of Florida that I got within the last 3 days where uh, one of the members of my group was on his way home and he seen eye shine that reminded him of a flashlight. Now, there was a projection of light coming from the eyes, but of course not as far as a flashlight. But he said the thing wasn't even looking at him until he stopped because he seen it, and that's when it turned and looked at him. Actually, like it was standing there like, you can't see me if I don't look at you. So that kind of blew my mind, but there's some other stuff going on with him. He actually sent me a couple of pictures of some prints outside of his window, and he lives in a apartment complex community. So what the attraction for that is, when I ask, there are certain questions that I ask to see if I can get a idea of what I'm gonna do. This, look at that. Can y'all see me now? That light is so bright. I'm only gonna leave it on for a little bit, but I'm using my phone. Ooh, that light is bright. Ooh, really bright. So, um, you know, what's going on around the world? Because for him to have something looking in his window and then looking in the front window and then showing up at the side of the house. And he wasn't awake either time this happened. He didn't see the tracks until he got outside the next morning. But there's a series of questions that I asked just so I can try to maybe narrow it down to, is there a cemetery close to your home? Where's the closest water source? What's the biggest patch of wood you have close to your home? Because this is in the city, this not out in the country. And the reason I ask these questions is because there have been a lot of reports about dogman in uh, cemeteries, seen in or around cemeteries. You know, you got to have a source of water for them to drink and also for additional food sources. Hopefully, they will be eating a lot of them freaking pythons down there in Florida if they, surviving down there. But he just had, but it was actually two beings that he seen, and he said they was about 15 feet tall. He really couldn't give me a description of the outlines of what he saw, but he said something in him told him that they were dog men. But it's possible they could have been Bigfoot. I don't know one way or the other. Ooh, that light is bright. So I just do this off and on so y'all know that I am here talking to you live and it's not an AI. Uh, I had another encounter, a lady, she said, did a picture of something white standing on the road to her house. Now, I got to get permission to share these pictures, but if they give them to me, I can. I don't think the guy will have a problem with me doing it, but he's dealing with some other stuff right now, so I'm gonna wait until he get back to me before I talk to him about that. So, guys, y'all, me being able to talk to people, the thing that kind of makes me sad is that I can't. Some of the stuff I can't share because they just need somebody to talk to that experienced something just as weird as they did. It definitely helps with my knowledge pool, but it gives me nothing to be able to help them out of that rabbit hole. And that's what I would like to do. At least get them where they can get their feet up on them again and not look at the world and have a lot of darkness attached to it or the confusion. And it's the only reason it's confusion, in my opinion, is because I said this for a while since they saw it. If your ears hear it, they heard it. The only time you can put an additive or doubt into that is if you're under the influence of some type of drugs or alcohol, or you simply don't trust your eyes. My dad taught me to trust my eyes. So that's what I do. Now, with the stuff that I'm being shown on a regular, I don't have no doubts. Not that if I had any before, I don't have no doubts. But understand, I talk to so many people. Initially, there's some doubt in my mind if they're being genuine or not. Because I'm not a big podcaster. I don't have no TV show. And I'm like, why is these people reaching out to me? And I asked them that. That's one of the first three things I asked them. Out of all the people you could have reached out to, why you reach out to me? And every one of them says, because I heard your encounter, and dude, you not lying. There's too much detail. The way you tell it, I just told what happened to me that night. And for those that actually have talked to me, they know this is the way that I talk. This is not my appearance on podcasts is not an act or a role that I take on. It's just the way I talk. Now, of course, I am pretty funny too, but that's because I got a weird sense of humor ever since I had my encounter. So anybody that I can help, I try to help. There are some people they're beyond my help. I can't fault myself for that. God only gave me so much. He only gave me so much. So I use that to the best of my ability. But if anybody wants to reach out to me and talk to me about the encounter, you can hit me up on Messenger. If you send me a friend request, check your Messenger within a day because I will respond to you on Messenger and ask you how can I help you. But you know, I'm gonna talk about this for a short, maybe 2 minutes, then I'm leaving that alone. So every now and again, because I'm a little bit curious and maybe 8% vain, I drop by what lurks beneath just to see what the numbers are. More than 1 million people. Actually, it's 1 million and working its way toward 1,200,000 people have listened to my encounter. I don't know how he promotes his stuff, but wow. Wow, that's all I gotta say. Wow. Now I'm pretty sure a lot of people did this entertainment on Saturday night rather than going to the bar or doing something different. And that's why they do it. And that's fine. The more people that my message reach, hopefully the more people eyes can be open. Yeah, you're right. I had to get to that point. I mean, I am a human being. And what irritated me to a certain extent is how brave people can get behind a keyboard. I mean, yeah, they really get brave behind a keyboard. My thing is, if you don't believe me, have a conversation with me. Because if you don't believe, let's just say I see one of these non-believers somewhere at a grocery store, and I tell them, "Hey man, it's a dude outside the parking lot. He's out there doing donuts and flying through the parking lot, being crazy. Be real careful when you leave." Yeah, whatever, I don't believe. He walk his butt out the store, and guess what? That same dude plow over his butt right there in front of the store. Or that same person, could be a woman driver. I warned him. I did my part. Gabrielle, I did my part. So, um, you chose not to believe me. I can't make people believe me. I can only hope that they heed my words. If we didn't have magic, yeah, I said it. If we didn't have magic, wouldn't be a word for it. It would not be a word for it. And magic was believed in before we had a written language. So there are certain parts in the Bible that will actually tell you not to deal with magic users and people that commune with the dead or the passed on and stuff like this. So, it is what it is. I don't know why this is saying these messages are being held for review. Hey, Vinny. So, you know, this is just a testament on if you tell somebody something and you telling the absolute truth, they have to decide for themselves whether they believe you or not. And I had to get to that point to where it was um, of where it was like that, so that I wouldn't, get all worked up and be like, I know I gotta respond to this. Now there was a time I was responding to some of these people because they was talking some high power BS. But in the end, they said they have the right to believe and say whatever they want. They do, just like I do. So rather than give them any of my positive energy, I just read what they say and I keep doing what I do. I keep doing what I do because they're not going to stop me. And I think if they ever sat down and have a conversation with me, a one on one, they probably would shut the blank up. They probably would shut the blank up. That's how I'm going to put that. I absolutely agree with you. There are a lot of reports out there for it to be some truth to it. Now, understand, I have talked to a couple of people, and usually I always try to keep that door open in my head to it's possible that you're telling me the truth. But after talking to one guy and a lady, man, this ain't no joke. Don't reach out to me with this bull stuff talking about you did this or you seen that. Don't do that, please. Waste somebody else's time. And I'm gonna say 100% that they're being disingenuous. Yeah, I think that part of that is jealousy. I don't know what they'd be envious of because I'm broke. Broke is a joke, so I don't know why they envious now. My memory, at least before I had my stroke, I'm noticing there's some issue with my short term memory, but my memory's pretty freaking good. I can remember back to when I was 5 years old certain things that I did. So for them to tell me that I'm giving too many details, okay, I know what I had for breakfast last week. And I just asked, can you, what did you have for breakfast last Tuesday? Well, what does that matter? When you talk about I gave too many details, let's find out how many details you can remember about something as simple as you had breakfast. Well, it doesn't matter. That's because your ass can't, oops, excuse me, that's because your hindquarters can't remember what you had. So don't be talking about I'm giving too many details. You don't walk in my shoes. So that's all I'm gonna say on that. Because it's Christmas Eve and I'm not trying to get upset. No way tonight. And I'm having me a drink, non-alcoholic. It's orange juice. And my can't win a freaking game Cardinals cup. Can't win a damn game. I said I was gonna shave when they won again. So I might have a full beard by the time they win a football game. Um Now let's talk a little bit about these UFOs. I don't know what's going on where Isha live, but she's starting to get more UFOs. Yeah, I would say go Bills, but at least your team is winning, man. They got a better record than the Cardinals. These UFOs where Aisha lives is her sightings are amping up. I don't understand why, but again, once I get her to come on and talk, and it'll probably be a live within the group. I actually can't go live on Facebook until January 4th, so it'll be after that. Um, she's got some stuff to share. I'll put it like that. She got some stuff to share that for the people that are going to be there and listen to it. It's going to blow your mind, but it's also going to make you look within and without yourself. Now, when I say without, that means start watching the skies. Start watching the skies. She just, you know, I can only give a little bit of it, but hold on. Let me see before I even start babbling. Let me see if I can answer your question, Vinny. Let me see if she'll give me her permission. Hey, okay. Okay, sorry guys, I lost my signal. Can you guys hear me? Said I was back live. Make sure my okay, I'm down to 38%. Don't die so fast. Okay, so um, what a lot of you guys don't know is E's actually been abducted more than once. Um, she's pulled some weird looking implants from her body, and she's shown me some stuff. She's actually posted a couple of pictures in the group. I've never seen anything like what she showed me or what she told me. And for the Bigfoot or the dog man and the paranormal stuff, that's one thing. But when you got something that's taking you out of your home and or coming into your home and doing stuff to you, and then you find these weird metal pieces in your body, different parts of your body, like in the webbing of your thumb or the heel of your foot or in your leg. Um, Hopefully she still has some, and we're going to try to get them sent off to heck, I don't know where the frick to send them. Maybe somebody do something with rocks. I can't think of the word of it for it right now. Or metal, to find out what kind of metal they're from, if they have one that matches up with on the known scale. That will explain what it is, but that's only going to explain what it is. Definitely not going to explain how it got there. But yeah, it's she's been through a lot, guys. Yeah, that would be nice. They at least bought you dinner and drinks, or they did that, rotten suckers. So when I say I am really, really humbled that she reached out to me out of all the people she could have talked to. It was me that she talked to, and she said she just had a feeling that I wouldn't think that she was crazy. Now, of course, with everybody that I talked to, and I'm gonna say this right here because I've said it to her. Initially, when she started talking to me, I was like, she's hoaxing me. She. There's no way. There's no way. Then she started sending me pictures. Then I started being on video chats with her live, and she was capturing stuff. And she turned the camera around and look. If you guys look on my page, as you can see, everything that I have posted there, except for one thing, is from her. So uh I always gonna say that what I saw was a werewolf. So I would have to put it like this and say he's the one that showed me a dog man for the first time on video. And I couldn't see it at first, but when I really looked at the video, yeah, you could see it. You could just standing there breathing. You could see it. So she really taught me a lot on how to see stuff, but she has the whole gambit going on in her life, meaning she got Bigfoot, Dogman, paranormal, UFOs, and then she's posted share some pictures of fairies. Um, and there's a weird looking creature. I don't know what that is. It almost reminds me of a tree spirit from, if you guys are familiar with Princess Mononoke, those tree spirits there. Thank you, Andrew, and welcome. This an older picture. She shared a picture with me of what I look to me like a man-sized mantis or some kind of insect bug, but we talking about man size. She's got a whole bunch of stuff. When she told me she had more than 15,000 pictures, I'm like, really? She's like, yeah. I'm like, how long have you been at this? She said about this coming, I think this will make 9 years now. So it's she's just an incredible and brave lady. I mean, last night we was on the phone talking and she was outside because she was looking just right across the street. We're not talking about going out in the country, driving down some lonely country road in the middle of the night. And this stuff happens day and night. There's a light phenomena that we're trying to figure out right now, because where this light is showing up at night, nobody even lives in those houses. She said they don't have power. So where is this light source coming from? It's not a utility pole. But again, it's not on all the time. But it seems like here lately, when that light is on, if you look over to the right, there's usually some kind of entity or creature that you're picking up, whether it be eye shine or the face of a creature. So I'm really thankful that she chose me to reach out to, because she could have went to Vic or Jeffrey or the confessionals. There's a whole lot of places she could have went to. I'm not sure how she would have been received by them, but I'm just glad that she chose me, because it helps me, and therefore I can try to help anybody that's came and joined my group to see what's going on in real time now, not 5 years ago, not 10 years ago, but right now. I'm pretty sure if she did it, she could go outside right now and she would see some stuff across the street. I mean, there's videos that I haven't posted of one running up behind her Jeep and just standing there staring into the Jeep like he's admiring itself. And I actually was talking to E yesterday, and I asked her a crazy question. I don't know where this came from, but I asked her if she thought that cryptids could be narcissists, because I was thinking about that video and the way this thing ran up. I mean, it's like his eyes had to catch it with him from the after effect, and then it just stood there and looked at itself in the back of her Jeep, but all you can see is the freaking eyes. So it, it's it's really weird how, what moderator handled this? I don't have any moderators on here. Wait a minute. What? Oh, okay. I thought that said naive, but it said native. 61-year-old eyes is just doing things. So I'm gonna let Isha respond to that, because that was directed to her. So her soul, it's got bonus points attached to it, whether you're willing to believe that or not, because of what she's allowed to see. A lot of people can't see it, or they choose to say, I don't see that, knowing good and dang well what they seen. But she don't talk to a lot of people, and I get it. I didn't do it either for the longest, but we're planning on doing. Yeah, you take your time and you don't be looking at that screen while you're driving. That's a big no. You go get your babies and you get home safe. I'm gonna be here unless you going. Well, you shouldn't be going shopping. Everything should be closed. I'm gonna be on for maybe another 30 minutes. If I'm getting hungry, every time I rub my stomach, I can feel my spinal column. So I'm gonna be going to go get something to eat pretty soon. But when it comes to dog men, not so much Bigfoot anymore. I'm not sure what they did, if they left the area or they're being a little bit more reclusive because of some things that's going on in the area. But the paranormal stuff, I never thought I would see a picture of a ghost holding a freaking rifle. Uh, Never thought I'd see that. But yet she showed it to me. And I'm like, wow. Wow. Something that looked like a witch or a couple of witches. There's some black things in the woods. I don't know what those creatures are. They got round heads. They got some round heads, but you can see the eyes. I don't know what they are. Honestly, I don't. I know they blacker than 12 Country Midnights, though, and this shot was taken in the daytime. Okay. You know, since you can see, I'm trying to make out what your name is. Israel 5707. Is it I'm not going to brutalize that. So I'm going to just say Isaiah or Israel. Being that you can see, God gave you that ability for a reason, whether it be to warn others or to keep your family safe. He gave that to you for a reason. And if you've asked him to remove that from you and he hasn't, that's for a reason. So you're going to have to learn how to balance that with your everyday life, because that's a part of who you are and your everyday life. So regardless of whether you like it or you don't like it, use it for the purposes that help you or benefit you and your loved ones the most. It could keep y'all safe and out of harm, because it's like having a early warning system built within you, in a sense, because you can see something and warn others, hey, something is coming and it's going to look like this or that. Now, of course, you can probably get that side-eye look of some people going, yeah, right, whatever. Okay, you doing what you need to do. You deliver the message. However they receive the message, that's on them. But God gave you that for a reason. So you can use it like a tool if you want, if you choose, or I'm not sure what the other word I wanted to say is, but think of it as a tool that you can use to get something done. And once you do that, I think you'll find I mean, you got to accept what your eyes see. You have to accept that. And once you do that, you can go a whole lot further down. Hold on, my phone is getting ready to die. I'm gonna charge it up. You can go a whole lot further down I'm sorry, you can go a lot further along that road without getting stuck in a rabbit hole, to where you're like, sweet Jesus, God and above, take this sight and ability from me. It serves no purpose. No, it serves a purpose, because it's letting you know that these things are real and what you got to look out for. And I'm going to mute this for just Okay. My phone was going to die, so we're going to be sitting here for a minute in the light. But use that. Don't be afraid of it, even though some of the things that you see are frightening. Yeah, I know. I know it can be very scary. I understand that. But remember, if you can see danger coming in front of you or be aware if it's trying to sneak up behind you, then you're more prepared. You're more prepared. It's like you got bonus points attached to you too. Now, and I talked about this in the group. The thing about having that ability is that your aura shines brighter than other people's. So let's say you're playing skeet ball, okay? Or you roll that ball up and try to get it to go in the hole for the most points. Let's say yours is sitting at 50 and everybody else is sitting at 20, or very seldom do you run across another person whose aura is sitting at 50. Y'all burn brighter. You got more points attached to you. So if something dark was after you to try to collect your soul to present it to their boss in order to get some type of promotion, including excluding more power, a better food source, however that works, then stuff like that is going to be attracted to you because your light burns brighter in the dark than other people. So just always be aware that you were given this, whether you were born with it or it's, well, I guess if it was a generational thing, you will be born with it. I've never heard anybody saying that they developed a talent or ability to do that through prayer or anything. Now, if you're doing some kind of rituals, then it's possible you can do that. But then, you got something attached to you that's giving you the ability to do that. Okay. So you warned them, you did your part. You can only do so much when you warn somebody about something. It's God gave us all free will. Some of us choose to follow him and follow his word to the exact letter, but we're also one of the most faulty of his creations. We arrogant, we can be obnoxious, uh, envious, all of that. So, but God gave us free will to follow him and do this. Some stray so far, they end up in prison because they be throwing these baby oil parties and stuff like that. And you see where that gets you. So just once you see something enough, it shouldn't be scary anymore. Just know that God got you. Because he ain't letting nothing get you. He letting you see this stuff, but he hasn't let anything get you. So he got your back. Use that armor and that blanketing, that covering that you got from God, and face these things. And I know I'm sound like I'm talking out the side of my neck, but if you face these things with God's word as your shield and your weapon, your armor, nothing gonna happen to you. I mean, I don't know how long you've had it, but you still here with us. So that should let you know God got you. He's just giving you the ability to see these things that other people can't see. Just like you got these people that be talking about they go and they hear spirits or they know what spirits are saying. You got people that go and do investigations and stuff. Sometimes they get the shock of their life and they don't take their hindquarters back, or sometimes they never experience anything other than getting some recordings. But to actually see something, you sit on a shelf above somebody else that's just getting recording something because you can see it. And um, Lord knows what type of stuff you're seeing. But remember, God got you. and I'll keep you in my prayers too. But if you see something that you need to share it in the group. Because I'm no nonsense about that. I don't play that making fun of people and none of that other stuff. That's the quickest way to get shown the door. And you'll know that you're getting shown the door because I will send you a message on Messenger and I'm gonna put it out there and let people know. It's the bye bye song from Lion King. If you see that time to go bye bye, you know it's a wrap. You out of my group. That's a safe environment for people to come and talk about the kind of experience they have and not be made fun of. And ain't gonna have nobody doing that stuff. Absolutely not. I had to deal with it for so many times. Uh, when I first shared my encounter on Big Show, I didn't get a whole lot of feedback after I had been on TV on These Woods Are Haunted. I didn't get a lot of feedback there, but the feedback that I remember getting, it was mostly all love and people believe me. And of course, that's one of their number one episodes. And I just can't endorse that because of what they did to me, but I'm not going to go into that. I've talked about that enough. So, um, if you need to talk about some things that you've seen, reach out to me on Messenger if you don't want to share it in the group. And hopefully, I'll be able to give you something that will ease your mind. Merry Christmas. Thank you for coming. Um, so, having said that, you know, once I stopped being a sheep, once I stopped being a sheep, and that happened a long time ago. And by that, I mean, I stopped listening to what the assigned shepherd was trying to do, meaning the alphabet crew. You look at the stuff that they allow to happen, the stuff that they make happen all over the world, not just here in the United States, but all over the world. Now, some things they very flamboyant with letting you know that we have the power and you will not supersede our authority. You're gonna fall in line and you're gonna be a good little whatever. Because if you don't, we'll make your life miserable. We can make you disappear. They threaten your family, all kind of stuff. What are they so afraid of that they don't want the hard evidence to come out? Now, y'all, the FBI has come out and said that they believe in Bigfoot and that it's supposed to be a real creature. But then you got these other alphabet agencies. No, Bigfoot ain't real, and if you did see one, you better not talk about it. Uh, Yada yada yada. This will happen to you. Will mess with your bank account. All this other stuff. Why? Because I got a picture of Bigfoot and I can prove that y'all lying. Now, one reason could be, and I'm gonna always say this, is that lawsuits. You know, a lot of people say it'll hurt the logging industry or these other things. People are not gonna go camping and hunting and fishing and going to the national parks or national forests. That's BS. Now, for some people, it's true. But then you got that rare cut of man or human being that they don't care. They want to go out and get something because they want to put a head on their wall. They can sit around, drink beers, and talk about, yeah, I shot this Bigfoot and his whole family member. I got the rest downstairs, but this the big boy right here. That's why his head got that place of honor up on the wall above the fireplace. Just because you can kill it, you can't like just take pictures of it and that be your proof. Why you have to kill something? Because some people they have to see a body in order to believe it. I mean, just think about it like this: if you go, if you get a phone call, God forbid, one night, and say one of your family members was in a bad car accident, and they want you to come down and identify the body. First thing you're gonna say is, first thing you're gonna say is, no, 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 I don't believe it. I don't believe it. No, now that's not my baby down there that you got down there. No, that's not my mom. That's not my dad you got down there. But then you go down there to the morgue and you get to see. And that's when it hits. This is real. Because you got a body right there in front of you. Now, that's a hell of a way to have to put things. I understand that. But it is one of the most realistic truths because your mind will tell you, no, that I don't believe that. There's no way that I was just talking to them 10 minutes ago and I know they was on their way home. Didn't nobody know a drunk driver was going to T-bone them at that intersection? Or maybe 30 minutes ago. So for some people, that's what it takes. They have to see a body. Even if you have an encounter and you tell some friends or somebody that you believe could be your wife or your girlfriend from years, and they look you in your face and start laughing and be like, I don't know what the hell you on, but you need to give it up. Or are you drunk? What kind of drugs did you take? Do you need to get some rest, honey? Stuff like that. From somebody you've been with for years that knows you, and they'll still question you if you tell them what you've seen. So I get it why a lot of people keep their mouth closed because they don't want to be seen as that oddball. And Vincent, while you out there in that field, you better make sure you keep your head on a swivel, dude, if in case you see something. But if you do and you can, try to get a picture or a short video and just send it to me on Messenger. But I'm praying that you be okay. But don't stay out there in that field too late, man. It's it's nighttime and it's dark, and especially if you by yourself. So don't stay in that field too long. So going back to the Alphabet Crew, yeah, they do all kind of stuff. Um, I'll talk about any interaction that I have with them, and just like a few months ago, they got into my phone and took 3,000 pictures out of my phone, but just from one person. Why not swipe everything? They just took 3,000 pictures, and I just got them back within the last 3 weeks. At least I believe I got all of them back. It looks like I got a few videos that are missing, but I can get those back. So, you know, okay, okay, who's putting inappropriate messages up here in the chat? Let me go take a look at this because I don't know why I keep getting the message, but then when I read it, it's not inappropriate. Okay, because you said already came inside. I guess the word came kind of is a alert word for YouTube. Hilarious. So, um, guys, I just I don't have no body, uh, and if I did have one, I'm not going to social media to post it. Trust me, I got a plan for if somebody come to me with a body on how we'll try to get it to the public and let the chips fall where they may from that point on. But I don't have no body. I got some videos and some pictures. A lot of what I mean, you can go outside, but are you going outside to sit, or are you just going outside to try to because you got some weird stuff happening around your house? Israel, that's my question. So, um, exactly. Deathbed confessions. Now, if you close to leaving from this plane and going on to the next adventure, are you really trying to leave a tarnished legacy by that being your last words is a lie? Is that what you is that really what you trying to do? Okay, Israel, that may be good that you're going to do that, but trust me, I had a stroke and I smoked for years, so you might seriously want to think about giving that up. And that is my helpful hint for today. It woke me the heck up. It woke me the heck up. High blood pressure and smoking, not a good mix. But I'm still here, so I know he's not done with me yet. And that's all the chastisement I'm gonna do about that. So back to these deathbed confessions. Why would you want to tell a lie and you close to going on to the next adventure? You know, yeah, I actually I think you talking about Joe Burger or Burger, the truck driver that shot the thing in the eye was running along next to his truck. Yeah, he I didn't get a chance to talk to him, but I did hear about his encounter, and he shared it multiple places. I actually really like that. But what they did to him, talking about he killed a freaking government asset and was messing with him like that. Yeah. Tony Merkel runs that podcast, if I'm not mistaken, the Confessor. He reached out to me and asked me to be on his podcast, and I did respond to him, but I never heard back from him. So it is what it is. The only person whose podcast I actually asked to be on was Vic Cundiff because I needed to get something off my chest. Everybody show that I've been on after that, they reached out to me, and I have had some great experiences with some not so good, but you know, that's the way people do stuff. That's the way people do stuff on how they do their podcast. But one thing I'm not cool with is you ask me to be on your show, and then I find out later on that you was talking crap, which you have means because you didn't believe me. So um I don't know if I was blocked. He never went and looked at the message. I know that because he sent me. I reached out to him on Messenger. He was like, "Hey, how can I help you?" So his icon never dropped down that he had seen it. So I don't know what's up, but like I said, I don't do friend requests on Facebook anymore. Um, it's just too much crap going on there, and I got tired of having to block people because they was coming at me sideways about my encounter. So uh, he'd have to reach out to me on Messenger if he wants a response from me. Otherwise, he's just gonna collect dust. Yeah, yeah, I believe that. I believe the government will block correspondence, but you know they can only do it for so long or for so much. And my thing is, if these things aren't real, why are you blocking stuff? Why are you causing a problem? It's not real. These are fantasy creatures, make believe. So why would they even stick their foot in there? Sometimes your actions make you guilty. Sometimes your actions make. I mean, just think about if you go to work and you come home and your dog done either turned the garbage can over and scattered trash all around the house, or tore up a cushion, or done chewed on your shoes. When you come home, their demeanor will let you know that they screwed up, and they know they screwed up. But while you wasn't around, they didn't give a damn. That's why they did the stuff that they did. Oh wow, why did they? So they deleted 8 of your YouTube channels and they block your emails. What kind of material did you have? Freedom speech not allowed. I'm sorry. What kind of content? Yeah, I agree with you. Wow, that's really weird how that light is reflecting off my glasses. Looks like something. Oh wow. Oh wow, 2 decades. So, wh- what kind of content do you have? I mean, is it cryptid stuff or is it cryptid stuff or what kind of content is it? Oh wow. Okay, but you still not telling me what kind of content it was. Okay, thank you. Well, you must have some really, really convincing stuff if they're going to uh using measures like that. 2 decades of your stuff being deleted. That's wild. Have you? And I'm pretty sure you've already set up a pseudo identity to create another one. Ah, yeah, New Order. Yeah, yeah. That NWO, the stuff that they doing. Huh, I ain't even gonna go into that right now. I'm not because they doing the most. Just with what they doing with the food and the fuel, dumping gasoline in the farmers' field, crude oil in the farmers' fields and stuff because they've been told to do that so that the farmer can't grow crops, destroying the soil. Wow, I didn't know that. See, when I read comments like that, that's what kind of makes me leery or reluctant to even start doing a podcast because I already know they in my phone. I've been on the phone talking with people, and you can hear and have heard this call is being recorded. I immediately get off the phone. I'm like, what? What? I immediately get off the phone, and we either go to another platform to finish that conversation, or it's a few days before I talk to them again. Because I've had some weird people ask to join the group, um, and when I talk to them, the last moderator that I had, name is Jesse something. And yeah, I'm gonna say this. He reached out to me and we talked for about 2 months. And he started asking me to be made a moderator. Now the group wasn't that big, so I really didn't need one because everybody pretty much mind their P's and Q's. You get a couple of knuckleheads in there every now and again, but I handle that. But the weirdest thing happened after I made him a moderator and I instructed him on how to accept people into the group based on my specifications. Everything was good. He sent me some messages and stuff like this, but then he started talking about the kind of cologne he liked to wear and what kind of jewelry he liked. Okay, that's fine and dandy. That I have no interest in what kind of cologne you like to wear, dude. But just one day I woke up and I went and checked my messages and his was no longer there. So I went and checked the group. He done left the group and he blocked me on Messenger. What the hell? What the hell? So I don't know if he was a plant. You know, he had access to the same stuff all my members do, the content in the group, but you don't have access to me personally. And he did say that. Yeah, definitely. That's why I don't have one. That's why I don't have a moderator. Now, if my group should grow to like 10,000, I do have a couple people in mind to ask because and they are or and have been two of my staunchest supporters. So I got a pretty good vibe with them. on what they're doing. One guy is actually, well, I'm not gonna let the cat out the bag, but I think these two people will be excellent at what they do, um, because it never cause any problem, and always they on point when it welcome new members to the group. So right now I just don't have enough. It's not big enough, but if it should get to, about 10,000, I'm gonna say between 5 and 10,000, where I need a few more eyes to watch, then I will. But I enjoy doing this. I do. I have turned a lot of people away, and I wasn't never going to say this, but I will now. I have certain criteria in order to be allowed to join my group. So, uh, if you don't meet my criteria, you're not getting in, and you could be genuine. But if you've had a YouTube channel, I'm sorry, a Facebook account for years, and you don't have a picture of yourself on your Facebook account, it's not happening. It's not happening. Well, that's wild, man. You can't even comment on there, but you're able to comment here. So it could be the content. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's because of your title, free speech not allowed. That could be, like, somebody could have flagged that when they were creating their channel, and that could be the reason why. I'm just saying it's a possible reason. So I don't know. I can't tell you. I haven't had that issue with YouTube. Of course, I only post some stuff on here. This is my first live on YouTube, and of course, it's not very good. I'm sitting in the dark, but I promise you, when I do this again, I will be sitting in the light. Which means I probably have to do it in the daytime. But I tried to do it this time of night because I noticed that a lot of people weren't showing up, and I still don't have a whole lot of people here. I only got 9, but that's okay. That's okay. I appreciate anybody here. It's better than me sitting here talking to myself. Well, you must know some secrets then. If they doing all of that, you got somebody assigned. Well, I will tell you this, and it may help, it may not, but every cryptid group, every podcast has a plant in it. I have one in my group. I just don't know who it is yet, but I'm gonna find out. They go the extra mile to make their profiles look very believable, and they're to monitor. They monitor these groups because if somebody come forward with some indisputable evidence, they want to know where to send the dogs to get them, so they can shut that down with the quickness. But I was talking earlier about how the alphabet crew operates and does certain things by messing with you if you do come forward with indisputable evidence. When if the threats don't work, if the freezing of bank accounts and cell phones and stuff don't work, if there's one guy, he came forward about a Bigfoot encounter and they tried to destroy him. I mean, they literally tried to destroy this man's credibility, his credit. They cut his cell phones off, froze his bank account. His boss that he worked for, that he's been going to school with since grade school, they convinced this man that his friend that he's known all this time to fire him because they said they took his personal computer and it had child porn on it. So, uh, through the grace of God and that that man, his friend's wife, that actually sat her husband down and talked to her and said, hold on just a second, and actually said, you've been knowing him all these years. You really believe that he's been running drugs every weekend to California? Dude, where was he at a couple of weekends ago? Wasn't he at a cookout at our house? He didn't run no drugs, no California. And as long as you've been knowing him, we was at his wedding, he was at our wedding. It took all of that and some more conversation from this man's wife to her husband until this guy was like, you know what? That makes basic sense. That makes basic common sense. You're absolutely right about that. So they had arrested this man and he was in jail for a couple of weeks and they didn't even tell him why he was arrested. Kicked in his door and came in and took him out the house on a Tuesday while he was sitting down having dinner with his family. If I find that encounter, I'll post it in the group or I'll try to share it here, but I don't know how to share other people's stuff on YouTube. This is all new to me, so I'm gonna figure it out as I go, but I can share it in the group. And that man put his company up to get that dude out of jail. And he got out. And you want to know when he went to go to court, him and his cousin, basically what happened was the man and his cousin was fishing and a Bigfoot was throwing rocks at him from this island. His friend was a cousin in the back of the boat. He looks and sees the Bigfoot dart behind a tree and immediately take us to shore. There's a black man on the bank throwing rocks at in the water, destroying our fishing. Now this is an island. So y'all fished around the whole island and never seen another boat. So how did this black man get on this island from on this big reservoir? And long story short, they got out there and got something started. His cousin did that he couldn't finish, and he ended up getting smacked from the bank into the water by the Bigfoot. He broke 3 or 4 of his ribs and gave him a concussion. And I believe one of his ribs punctured his lung or was close to it. But his cousin got him back to the bank, and they was like 45 minutes away. So they had to ride for a minute before they even got cell phone range to make a call. But by the time they got to the doctor, paramedics and the police and the park rangers waiting on them. So they go to the hospital, and then here come these two guys that's playing this good guy, bad guy act, asking what happened, and then telling him that he's seen a bear. One was real nice, and then this other big dude, like 6'8" or something. I've heard about them showing up in several instances where people share their encounters to do that good guy, bad guy thing. But basically, when that happened, he was threatened, jailed, could have lost his job, everything, but he got out, and they told him that if he didn't shut up and stop talking about it, he got this from a lawyer when they went to court. So that's how that turned out. But even when he went to the radio station to talk about his encounter, 10 minutes before he was supposed to go live on the radio, the whole radio station lost power. But everywhere else on that block or in that area had power. They looked outside and seen its lights on in stores and everything. Then the station manager get a phone call. He come back about 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes later, and tell dude to get the F out of his station and don't come back. And the dude's talking about, what are you talking about? What are you talking about, man? I'm supposed to be. He said, no, you gotta get out of my station. You gotta leave. So yeah, they go the extra mile sometimes, depending on what you have to say. And this happened a few years ago. But if I find that account, I know it's in my watch list unless they removed it. And I'll post it on the group. Okay, so Israel, yes. Not only have I heard about that, but I still have one picture, and I had another one. I have to go and look and see if I still have it, but somebody sent me a picture of a Bigfoot coming out of a portal. So that's not a uh, that's not fake news. That's not made up. They have the ability to do that. Right now, E has, well, never mind, scratch that. I'll wait and let her tell you about that. But yeah, I have a picture of a Bigfoot coming out of a portal, coming out of this tree by this teepee structure, and there's a dog in the picture too, and the dog doesn't even know that the Bigfoot is there. And of course, when I first got it, I went into the comment sections for the group that I took it from, and a lot of people were saying it was AI. You know, this AI crap is, I'm sorry, I'm reading this message about this YouTube channel. Um, this AI crap is, if you go back, if you guys, if y'all do your research and go back, you'll find out that AI was actually created by the government. Now, I just want you to think about that for a minute. So, artificial intelligence has to be programmed. And then, depending on what the programming is, it can take on the aspect of where it starts learning on its own outside of assistance from man. That's a dangerous thing. That's a very dangerous thing because we're talking about something that doesn't have a soul, nor does it have mercy. It's AI. And if it can, we have some instances that saying that AI is gonna cause the end of the world because they're gonna send off all the missiles and stuff. The creators ain't gonna be able to shut it down. But if you got a government created, I don't know, does entity work? Does entity work? Should we call it an entity? Or maybe should I just say program? I'll call it a program. So if you got a government created program that had to be programmed, you can put keywords and images embedded within that to immediately, depending on the wording, fool you or deny that what you're seeing is real. So let's just say, like that Dogman video that I posted today. Now I said that they got two genuine dogmen in there. The rest of that is AI crap. Now I'm not gonna say which two right now. I want to see how many other people can see it because, in a way, a small way, I'm kind of like a teacher. If I'm gonna give you a test, I'm not gonna give you the answers to the test until after I grade it, and then I might let you know which ones you got wrong as opposed to which ones you got right. But I want people to be able to see and decide for themselves what's real and what's fake. Now, could I be wrong? Of course I could. I'm not an expert, but I'm gonna give you the main key to spotting when you see AI. It's too freaking smooth. It's too smooth. You put a picture, an AI picture up of something, and then take a picture of yourself or maybe your girlfriend or somebody, and just compare the two, and you'll be able to tell the difference. Too smooth and too damn shiny. Shiny like they was at one of P. Diddy's parties, and that's why we on a damn shortage of baby oil. And yeah, I'm being stupid right now when I said that, but I'm serious when I say about the shiny part. So that's the quickest way. Ooh, hold on. I missed it. That's the quickest way for me to look at it. That is it's AI. So okay, E, I just now seen this comment. I was looking out the window. Well, you're gonna have to decide if you wanna what you wanna do with that. Again, dear, you already know what I know as far as what they do and what they're capable of doing. Hold on just a minute. So that's a decision that you had to make. And I know we talked about it several times, but I, if you do decide to share that one, please share the other one too. That right there, I think, would give the members in the group a whole new perspective of when it comes to the size of dogmen or how big they can get. Um, I know you guys don't know what I'm talking about, but when I say there's some stuff that is never going to come out of the warehouse to the showroom floor, that means it never get posted. But if she should decide to post this for the members of the group, and if I can, I will post it on my YouTube channel. It will blow your mind. It will blow your mind. I mean, and then you're really gonna have a reason to be afraid if you see this. You have a reason. I can, I could only imagine where your mind was at when you seen that, Aisha. I could only imagine. And then the additional stuff that was also seen in your vehicle. I don't know if it was the same night, but I'm pretty sure it was the same location. I don't know what the frick those two things were, but um, let's just say I'm glad you don't own that vehicle anymore. So, guys, there's a lot I could talk about, but I have to be careful because I don't want to say too much. Not that it's something that would get me eliminated, but it's just that it's more from the perspective of I haven't spoke to these people that shared this stuff with me to get their permission to share because there are quite a few people that reach out. They just want to talk. They have no desire to be on no podcast or anything. They just want to talk about stuff that they're experiencing or have seen or experienced. And if I can help put their mind at ease, being a fellow experiencer, and I know what it did to my mind and the fear that I had. Nothing has ever frightened me as much as I was that night on them tracks. Nothing. And I'm not gonna say that I thought I was Billy Badass at the time, but I was confident in myself that I didn't have to worry about no man, woman, or child getting the best of me, at least not uh, with empty hands. Now, if they had some type of weapon or something, that could change the whole dynamics of that interaction. But if you it's just hand to hand, I'm not worried about you. I got something for you. One or two things gonna happen. Either you gonna win or I'm gonna win if it gets physical. But I knew that night on them tracks, that was a zero, no win situation. I was outmatched with size, with strength, reach. Plus, you got them freaking dinosaur teeth in your mouth. Nah, that was no. And the nightmares that I had after that, you wake up drenched in sweat, eyes rolling around in your head because you're trying to look everywhere at once in the confines of your home, and it's so real, so real. Or you looking now checking your arm because in the nightmare your arm then got ripped off your body. Just horrible stuff. For months I had to do this. The only way I got to sleep was I had to drink myself to sleep. And I became quite adept at doing that. It was man, I just had to make sure I had ice in the house because I was not putting any kind of mixer in my drink. It was alcohol over ice. Maybe all that drinking I did that time could possibly have attributed to me having a stroke years later. But I'm still here and I don't drink like that. I gave that up a long time ago. Every now and again, I might have a drink, but not to excess, not too excessive. It's just that don't fit my narrative, and especially now, I need to stay clear headed with the stuff that people are talking to me about. Well, I don't know. Hold on, Roy. Tell us what went through your mind as you connected the dots. That what you saw was the lady. The earring. The earring. Second. Number one was the look. When that thing looked at me, and I looked at right back at her, dead in her eyes. That was not an animal looking at me, dude. I'm sorry. That was not an animal looking at me. There was way more intelligence behind them eyes. And it's just like I said in my interview. When you go to work and you come home and your pet is meeting you at the door, when your dog looks at you, it looks at you like it knows you. It knows who you are. That's why when you open the door and come in, you don't get bum rushed or attacked. Sight and scent is what, because my dog, even now today, he's old as I don't know what, but he'll look at me and then he'll still walk up to me and smell me. I actually think he's starting to go blind because it looks like he might have cataracts in his eyes. But he still walks up to me and smells me. Now, my youngest son came to see me today, and he I ain't seen him in a while, so my dog was kind of going a little berserk today. He did not that he tried to get him or anything, but he was barking at him like he was a stranger until he started talking to him. It was like, I don't know who you barking at. And then when he heard his voice, he started wagging his tail, but he was still kind of doing that low growl. And I just made him go lay down. I'm like, give him some time to get used to you being here. Because I don't have no medical bill money if you get bit. So I just sent my dog in my room and closed the door and I let him out after a while and he was cool. But yeah, it was that look that she looked at me like she knew me. And that's the best way I could describe it. But it wasn't looking at me like, okay, I'm looking at you like you're a juicy piece of dark meat. I'm gonna eat good tonight. It was no, I know you. You can try to run if you want to. You see how far you gonna get. Go ahead to try to run. See how far you gonna get. But it was more a look of I know you, Roy. So that and I'm gonna keep saying I'm not 100% sure, but I'm in the high 90s that was a gold hoop earring in her ear when she turned her freaking head because I wasn't looking at it at first because of the way it hang. If you got a hoop earring that women wear, and for some reason they love those big. If your waist is small enough, they can hula hoop with it. Earrings, them big ones. Oh, it didn't turn on. Them big ones, them big hoops that when they got them on, they actually be on their shoulder, but they turn a different way. They don't just dangle because the neck is not long enough. So when you see something like that, and as big as she was with her neck, and it was just hanging, but when she turned her head and did that fast jerk motion, it kind of swung out to where it just kind of flashed a light. And I'm reasonably sure that was an earring, but it was the look that she gave me. So that's what made me connect the dots. And for me to drive home and just play that over and over in my head. But before I even got to my car, we had to, I didn't have to, but to get Herman home and to hear what the other guys were saying as we was walking Herman home when we left from that liquor store and just man, describing it and Did you see that thing? And dude, that was a werewolf. That was a monster. So me listening to all of that and looking around just like they was doing and kind of dragging Herman so that because he's not uh, dragging Herman so that he's not gonna get left behind. Um, I never had a thought of leaving him because I honestly don't know why. I mean, for me to just meet somebody that night, I don't feel like I owed him anything, but I owed myself to get the hell out of Dodge and get somewhere safe. So since that didn't happen, and I'm gonna always say, if I had known what was on top of Herman before I got a good look at it, I mean, just seeing that silhouette, I would have been gone. I would have hit that fence. I would have hit that fence and scaled it and jumped to the top of that building and ran over and dropped down on Airline Highway and ran back up to that street I turned off an airline onto to get to the park, and I would have got to my car. But because I'm standing here looking at it, knowing that it's real, if I had any doubts when that growl hit me, you don't imagine stuff like that because you never heard nothing like that before. So you don't have anything to connect to in your mind to formulate, okay, that's this, or I've heard that before. That sounds like some heavy equipment being started up. No, that's not what it sounds like. Now that vibration is similar, but not that growl. And then with the parts that I seen when she came into the light, as close as she was, there ain't no way my eyes are playing tricks on me. There's no way. So when I think about all of that, and my mind just, you can't stand there and fight or say, no, that's not real. Well, it could be, no, that's not real. Well, it could be, damn all of that. That's not how I was raised. I was raised, if your eyes see it, that's what you see, unless you've been drinking or you're on drugs. So when I finally got a chance to talk to my father about that, when he was passing away, and he looked at me and said, I believe you, son. If I needed validation from anybody, that's who I needed it from because of the way he raised me. And with him being ex-military, um, he just would do different stuff, but he always would tell us, this is for you. This is to help you. So, um, I knew what I was looking at. I may have had a split second of WTF, is that real? But when it moves like that, and then on top of that, if you think about the surroundings that I'm on these railroad tracks in the dark, basically. I got these thistles on one side and these three buildings on another, and I got these six dudes that I just met 4 hours prior to that, and we going down the tracks. So all of that was real. That basketball that I was playing with that night was real. So was the rim. So was that chain net. So was the background. So was that roof that was over the playground. All of that stuff was real. So why would I get away from there and go down the tracks and then start freaking hallucinating? The only thing I was drinking was that freaking swamp water out that faucet. So yeah, I just no, no, that's not. something that I imagined or hallucinated. But even if you have a hallucination like that, does it haunt you for 3 years to where you have to get drunk in order just to function, to keep from going over the edge? I've never heard anything like that. Now I know they have a I'm trying to think of the word. This is terrible, man. I do not like when my mind does this. A diagnosis of long-term hysteria, but hallucination. I haven't ever ran across that one that it lasts for 3 years. So yeah, Shane is a great guy. I hope that my encounter on his helped him get some views in him because he was just getting started then. So I hope that I really hope that that helped him because that was my purpose. I wonder how he's doing. I hope him and his wife are having a Merry Christmas, and his son. I hope they all doing good. So I just I had to take it for what it's worth. I mean, imagine if somebody punched you in your face and your eye swell shut. Did you imagine that? And you can only see out of one eye. Did you imagine get punched in the face and somehow your face just miraculously swelled up? So getting punched like that night, it opened my eyes, but it kind of pissed me off too. Yeah, it pissed me off too, but not at the creature and not at myself. I got mad at my parents because they was always telling me monsters not real. They don't exist. There ain't nothing in the dark. My father's word was the dark cannot hurt you. Now there's some things in the dark that might hurt you. That's why I always tell you to clean up your room and pick your stuff up so when you get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, you won't trip on one of them toys and arm men and hurt your foot or step on your Tonka truck and that sucker shoot off from under you like a skateboard and you end up hurting yourself, you fall on the floor. Or throw you off balance and you fall into the wall, something like that. And I just would look at him like, yeah, okay, Dad, my room is clean. I got to do that every time I get done playing or before I go to bed. That's what I spend 30 minutes doing before I go to bed. So I was a little, I was a little pissed off, but I didn't call my mom or call my dad and tell them that. I never talked to my mother about it, but I did talk to my dad in 2010 when he was, I'm sorry, the end of 2009 when he was passing away. I had a conversation with him about it, and he told me he believed me because he know how he raised me. So that was great validation for me. And you know, should anybody, and there are people I just listened to encounter the other day about a guy that was less than 10 feet away or right about 10 feet away that had an encounter with a dog man. It growled at him, gave him the red eye shine, but it didn't advance on him. It just kind of growled at him, was like, no, you need to leave him out of here. That's the feeling that he got. So that's what he did. Now, have there been times in my life since I had my encounter that I have sat down and thought about what if things had went different? Like, because a lot of people ask me questions over the years, and I'll tell them, well, let me get back to you on that. Let me think about that because this is something that I'm gonna have to think about. I want to answer you the best way possible. So, what if she had showed up in her human form that night at the park? We got in the car, and my plan was ask her, about where a good restaurant is, and uh, you know, give me direction. We'll go there and eat. So you're absolutely right, Andrew. That's why now, for some reason, though, a lot more people are coming forward with and sharing their encounters. So you never know the people that actually survived their encounters, because I'm a firm believer everybody did not survive their encounter. I'm a firm believer in that. And may God rest their souls. And that's a horrible way to go. There's no ifs, ands, odds, and buts about that. So, dang, I lost my train of thought. So, back to what I was saying. Excuse me. If just go roll with me on this one. Let's say that she showed up in human form. We went and got in the car, and I said, "Well, where do you want to go? You know, where you want to go to eat? Where's a good place to go? Where's a good place to go?" And she suggested Papa Do's or Quarter Two Sisters. Uh, there's another place down there, I think it's called Tuesday, Ruby Tuesdays, or somewhere like that. And that's down. We could have went down in the quarter, even though they had other locations around the city. I don't know if there was one in Metairie or not, but we would have been going back down to New Orleans. Let's just say we went and ate and had a couple of drinks, maybe walked around the French quarters, or maybe went to a movie, or she suggested, well, hey, I know a nice spot we can go and sit where we can just sit and talk and get to know one another. Why don't you get a bottle, a couple of cups, and some ice, and we'll go sit there. And we go sat there, maybe smoked a joint or two. Yeah, I had my turn with the devil's lettuce, as they call it, or Mary Jane, whatever you want to say. But maybe we went and did that and sat down at City Park. Now, City Park is huge. If I pull up on the map, there's numerous places you can go in, and there's numerous exits, entrances and exits, I should say, that you can come and go in there. But there's places you can go and park where it may not be another person around. There's a whole lot of little parking spaces you can pull into. And we sat there, and she said, Roy, I want to show you something. Now, my mind frame would have been like, okay, she about to dog vest herself with this top, or if she got on a skirt or something, you about to see something, Roy, because you already know what she working with. And instead of doing that, let's just say she get out of the car and took off all of her clothes and tell me, I'm gonna show you something, but don't be scared. And then she changed in front of me. Now, either my way of looking at it is one of three things is gonna happen. Either my brain is gonna turn to pudding and come running out of my ears, or I'm gonna go stark raving mad, or I'm gonna start my car up and get the hell out of there ASAP, or I'm gonna sit there in amazement and say, now what? What you gonna do next? Or do I start begging for my life? And I just fed you. You should be full. But how much energy do you have to burn up in order to go through that change? Did that put you back on E? Now you got an empty stomach. So if she had done that, I would have never shared my encounter if I had survived it. Never, because I'm pretty sure nobody would have believed that. That would have stayed in house until they put me in the dirt, or my kids got my journal and they read it for themselves. So when you thinking about an encounter that you had, depending on how it all played out, if you look at the different variables or the possibilities, and it could be a lot. When my brother told me the way he processes stuff, it made perfect sense, but I looked at him like that's a whole lot of work, because he said, when I got a problem, I'm trying to figure it out. I close my eyes and I take a picture of a pond with a glass surface, meaning there's no wind. It looks just like it's just flat. And he take a rock and throw it out there in the pond. He said, now when that rock hit, it's gonna sink, but it's gonna send out ripples in every direction, 360 degrees. He said, when I got a real bad, serious problem I'm trying to figure out, that's how I picture it in my head. I have to look at each one of those freaking singular waves to see if I can find a solution to my problem in it. And I said, man, that is wow. That's I never thought about it like that. He said, because you never know where you're gonna find your answers. So, you know, it could be your answer could lie any freaking way. It just depends on how you're willing to perceive what could possibly be an answer or where you go to find your answers in your mind. So that's what I did for 3 years. I looked at every angle that I could possibly think of, writing it down, even drawing a tree with branches and leaves. Was did my boss set me up? Did Herman set me up? Did one of them dudes set me up? Did all of them set me up? And they just because people are great actors, you can act a certain way in life. Some people are just so good at it that they go to California or New York and they get on the big screen behind cameras and they're able to portray these I call them alter egos because they can read a script and adapt to that character they read about to the T. Nobody ever thought that uh, Robert Downey Jr. from his early, how much problem he had with drugs and alcohol when he was younger. Look at what he did with Iron Man. Fantastic role. Even though we talking about Marvel, fantastic. Look at Denzel Washington, the roles that he takes on as being the equalizer. Calm, cool demeanor will have you jacked up from your rooter to your tutor and be calm about it. Just as calm. There are actually people in life. I think that he was embracing his serial killer within himself, if you will, because of how calm he was when he was jacking people up. You didn't see a lot of outward emotion in him. So I understand he was playing a role, but that's part. So people can be like that in real life. Well, if they challenge spirits, that's on them. So, and you know where that's going to get them. But I hear a lot of people go to Hollywood and New York, they end up worshiping and doing different stuff to fit in to get that money and that power. Sometimes you have to sell your soul, and that's on them. So, not me. And let me go back because you asked the question about, or you said she even more terrifying is how many others has she done that to? That's a good question. If in fact she did that, or maybe I was her first one. I seem to have got the feeling that I was the first one because of what somebody told me. Uh, and I was really, really, really surprised by what he said. But it definitely could be a possibility because he said that she was leaving her pack to go and start her own pack. And she was looking at me because of my physical attributes at that time. And plus, I didn't look like the bottom of an army boot in the face. I was kind of handsome a little bit. A little bit. She was ready to make me her alpha. Now, I'm on the fence about that because that could be a great thing. Could be the worst thing I ever happened to me, especially if I know now I don't get to talk to my brothers and sisters, my parents anymore because I'm different. So, I don't know, but that's what he said. And I think if she had been more seasoned, if you will, using air quotes, she just would have took all of us out, took the choicest parts of the bodies, and either arranged them on the railroad track so that they would be mangled and shredded when the next train came down the tracks, or she would have took us and hid us in them thistles. And because of the smell that was already there, yeah, when our the bodies would have started decomposing, people that would have been in the back of those shops would have smelt it. Or if the wind was blowing right, then it would have blew that smell toward those houses on the other side of those thistles. So there's a chance that there's a chance that I would have been her first, because like I said, I something in my gut just tells me when I was talking to him that if this was something that she normally does, we would have we would have been we would have been steak tartare on them tracks. And there may have been a small article on page number 3 of the Times Picayune about 7 dudes found dead on the tracks. But they're not releasing any more information that until families have been notified. But we're not going to talk about the condition of the bodies until that one reporter that goes down to the morgue and pays the mortician X amount of dollars to get access to the files on the condition of the bodies, and then he decided to write an article about they missing their hearts and their livers or their tongues and their eyes. That's how I choose to look at it. And I know that's kind of morbid thought, but you know, we talking about something that is definitely different. I mean, look at what happened to those hikers in that pass. I think it started with a D, where they say that a Bigfoot came and killed all them folks, and there was some people was missing a tongue and their eyes, and the dudes, some of them, they had been hit so hard that they could only imagine the type of force that was dealt to break the bones or do the damage to the bodies. So she definitely was big enough to get the job done. And with the speed that I've seen them move with, it's just been, there's no way we could outrun her. No way. Mm, no way at all. So having something like that happen, and then, excuse me, Justin. Oh wow. I'm sorry, guys. I knew she was gonna do this. Isha just sent me some stuff that she captured tonight. I'm gonna ask her to post it in the group so y'all can see it. Because even if I show it to you on my phone, you're not really gonna be able to see what I'm seeing. But so people always say, well, some people do. You know, werewolves ain't real. They not, and they give us the truth. Somebody made a comment earlier about they show us the real stuff in the movies. You know, to a certain extent, that's true because they hide behind this is Hollywood makeup, fairy tale, fantasy, science fiction. But if you're willing to get some books on demonology or witchcraft, there's a book. When me and Brenton Salwin had our second conversation, we talked about this. And he's the one that put me on about there's a book that used to be out in libraries all over. And this guy was telling what you had to do to become a werewolf. He gave you step by step instructions on how to become a werewolf. I don't know if somebody did that and found it to be true, or if there was attempting to do it, or if maybe one of the alphabet crews got a hold to it and decided we're going to use it to try to make a super soldier, and it worked. But I know that all of those books were taken removed from libraries, they were removed from bookstores, everyone was taken out of circulation unless somebody had one that was undeclared, meaning they couldn't find a way to prove that they have it or had knowledge that they had this book. So There's another one that's out, and it kind of delves into it, but it was not as specific as his other book was. And yes, it included making a sacrifice to that big fella downstairs. But in this particular instance, you were basically opening yourself up to let a demon possess your body. To therefore, that was what the demons look like, a werewolf or a dog. So that's how the body was able to survive the change through dark magic, if you will. I wish he was still with us so I could reach out to him and get that conversation. Again, that he was Brenton was a great guy to talk to, and he had a lot of people talking to him too, and he had some experiences when he was little with the duendes and demons. So he was very, very informative and helpful to me when I talked to him. And if things had have played out better, his would have been the first podcast I would have been on. So I'm um, always remember him and respect him for the things that he shared with me. Like my friend Randy, before he passed away, Randy helped me too because he taught me about how dogmen can cloak, about how dogmen can cloak. So when he sent me that picture, and I think I have another one of a Bigfoot, but when he sent me that picture with them blue-eyed dog men, that just blew my mind. Because he knew they was there, but he's like, I just walk like I don't even see them. And they've never done anything to me. So, but he said he had a, I don't know, I don't believe I have seen that. I could have seen that video from that creature from Fort Pierce. But if you have it, if you could send it to me, I'd appreciate that. Yeah, Nebuchadnezzar. Okay. So, um, a lot of people say they don't understand how the human body can survive the change. We don't even know how the human brain works 100%. I've seen videos of people are allegedly under some type of not spiritual possession, but they're actually able to levitate. But it's because of them being a descendant of some saint, or there's an ability that they have. And that the last one I seen was of a little girl in a red coat. She's up in the air, and this guy's walking his dog, and he come around these bushes, and he see him, and he called the dog, alerted, to there was people there. And when the lady turned and looked and seen him, she pulled the little girl down out of the air, and then they took off running. But if you look at it when they slowed it down, I seen this on Paranormal Caught on camera. Imagine somebody got a kite string on them, and the wind is blowing, and that's how they holding you, keeping you from floating off. They got a string or something, but there was no string attached to that girl. But you could see her hair was blowing and everything, like it was a strong wind. But she was just up there levitating. But her body was stretched out, kind of like Superman when he's flying. But when they seen that dude and noticed he had that camera in his phone in his hand, she quickly came down and they took off running. And the little girl was probably 10 or younger. So we don't even know how the human brain works all the way. There are some scientists that say if we could use 50% of our brain, we could achieve the power of flight and uh, minus wings or aircraft. So now we can fly like Superman just with mental power. Is that some kind of telekinesis that gives us that ability, or what? So I don't know what what happens. I was told by a guy some years ago, about 3 years ago now, that when a person changes from human form to werewolf form, their body, the bones in their body, get soft like a newborn baby. And I couldn't, you know, I couldn't wrap my mind around that the way he was telling me. So I'm like, what do you mean like a newborn baby? He said, how do you think a baby head comes through a birth canal? He said, yeah, uh, the birth canal is going to open up to a certain extent. But if you have a large child, like 10 pounds or bigger, how you think that head? He said the head actually can shrink in some or become flexible so that it comes out, so that the baby comes out. And I thought about that and I was like, wow, he's right. Because, being a father, I actually had talked to the doctor about certain things. And one time, I'm not going to lie, when my second daughter was born, the doctor came real close to getting punched because he took two fingers and put it behind my daughter's neck and was pulling her. And I'm like, dude, you stretching her neck, you gonna hurt her. He's like, I know I'm not. I know what I'm doing. I'm like, well, I know what I'm doing too. And if you hurt her, you might not survive long enough to make it through the lawsuit. And I meant that. But because oh wow, really? I just homie don't play that. So I've seen it. And guys, I've been going for almost 3 hours. It's 2 hours and 45 minutes. My phone is about to die. So having said that, I'm going to wish all of you a Merry Christmas. And hopefully I'll be able to do something again before New Year's or maybe New Year's Eve because I had a stroke. I'm not going anywhere. But I thank all of y'all for attending, and I will come back to this session and I'll actually respond to your comments, the ones I didn't get to, and answer your question there. But I don't want to be rude and my phone just died. And uh, hold on, let me see. Yeah, because I got it plugged in, and I guess I'm burning so much power that it's not charging like it's supposed to. I'm at 1%. So everybody, have a Merry Christmas. Be safe. Only do one or two things that I would do tonight, and we're gonna keep that to ourselves. And I will see y'all next time. May God bless and keep each and every one of you. And like I always stay safe and stay vigilant. And I will talk to y'all next time. Good night, everybody.